Hey, and welcome back to the Juggle is Real. I'm Andryanna, your host, a self care advocate, and mom of three. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for hitting play. This is the podcast where we talk about how to keep all the balls in the air without losing yourself in the process. And if you're coming back and you've been here before, thank you so much for being here. Today's episode is so good. If you only have time to listen to this before the summer hits, definitely carve out the space because we are talking about shifting from surviving to thriving, which I know can sound like very like up in the air, but it's truly something that we are all craving, especially as we head into the busy, beautiful, chaotic, and fleeting season of summer. So, I'm going to be sharing my number one tip to help you do just that, get into that thriving mode. And it is probably not what you think, the tip, like it's not going to be a new smoothie recipe. It's not gonna be, some, like, magic thing that you can order online. The number one tip is recovery, okay? Real, actual recovery. And I'm going to explain why it's the magic key to enjoying summer without burning out. And so, this episode, we're going to cover why summer can be a sneaky little trap for overdoing it. I'm going to talk about the science of stress and why your body can't tell the difference between chaos and quote unquote fun. And I'm also going to share tangible, real, helpful ways to build recovery into your life. So, even if you're working a full time job during the summer, even if you have kids home all summer, and I have a few honest reflections from last summer when I didn't prioritize recovery and pay the price. If you're a listener who was listening last summer, it was shingles. I got shingles last August, which was terrible. So, all of these things are going to support us in thriving and not getting burnt out, not getting sick. And I also have a free resource that you may want to download is a simple summer days planner. It's free. It's going to help you create structure without rigidity and joy without the chaos. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into it and dive right in.
This is the Juggle is Real podcast. I hope you feel seen, that you realize your worth, lighten your load, and prioritize your own needs. As we hear from leading experts and well-known faces in the wellness, entrepreneurship, education, and motherhood space, I hope you gain insights, proven practices, and learn actionable tools to help you enjoy the juggle of work, family, and everything in between with a little less stress and a lot more ease, joy, and fun. Most of all, I hope you find what you need to simplify, streamline, and supercharge your own journey of better balance and self-love. Are you with me? Let's get started.
Okay, so before we get into the recovery, I want to share a little bit. I don't know, we could just do a little check in because the idea for this episode came from things that I've been reading, some research, and just what has been happening in my life lately. And thinking back to, okay, it's right now, we're in May, we're in this crazy May-December time. I want my summer to be fun and relaxing and filled with great stuff. I also have work to do. I also have three children. How can we make this work? And so it's learning as we go, remembering what happened in past summers and being like, okay, how can we make things different? So just the past few days for me have been pretty full and in the house and doing those like life admin tasks that get pushed to the back burner when things are busy, like I'm sharing this, it's so embarrassing, but, like, our, like, toilet paper holder in 2 of the bathrooms literally, like, fell off completely. Like, we just had a roll of toilet paper on the floor for, like, 2 weeks, okay? Um, Taking the winter coats and hats and mitts and getting them out of the front entrance and washing them and putting them away and going through the bins, taking out the summer clothes, putting away winter clothes, donating things that don't fit anymore, all of that stuff, right? And it feels so good. It felt amazing to clear all of these little tasks off the list, but I realized that they had really been nagging at me for a while. right? Like these are the things that I would just like be about to fall asleep at night and be like, ah, we need to do this. Or like, like it's just those little things that get to you and you don't really realize it because you're in like that go mode and you're pushing through, but like these little things, like they just weigh on you. They talk about that mental load, and these are the things that weigh at you. And I also got hit with a spring cold that seriously lingered. I know the past couple of weeks, the episodes that you've heard, I was talking in this nasally stuffed up voice, but it was like a full 2 weeks. It was actually 15 days, and I felt quote unquote fine, but I just didn't have the energy for extra. Like, I did not go for one walk during this time or do any type of exercise or movement of my body. It was not thriving. It was just keeping the train on the tracks, right? And that got me thinking about how often we coast through summer in the same way. We're barely holding it together, but we're doing all of these things because we feel like we should. So, here is where I get to the big message for today. Recovery is the secret to thriving. Okay. It is the key to thriving. Recovery. It is not a reward. It is a requirement. And that's what we're really talking about today because I know you know that, you get it, you understand it. But it's not the thing that we get to do after we've earned it by going so hard all week that we get 1 hour of self care. It is the foundation for everything else. And so I don't want to just be preaching this to you. I want to share actual research and evidence and findings that are recent and going to be helpful for you. So I've lately been listening to an audiobook that I downloaded by Dave Asprey. You might be familiar with him. He is the founder of biohacking, and the book that he most recently wrote is called, what's it called? Live smarter, not harder. And in this book, he talks about the laziness principle. And essentially, what this principle is, it's that our bodies and brains are designed to conserve energy. Okay, so within this principle, the main fact of it all is that pushing harder does not make us better because our bodies and our brains are designed to conserve energy. So pushing harder doesn't make us better, but strategic rest is what moves the needle forward, is what improves us, is what makes us feel and actually be better. And so in sports science, this is really, really clear, right? Like you can see this, whether you have kids who play sports or not. Athletes and professional athletes improve during their rest, not during the game, not during the workout. And so this applies to us. We can't keep sprinting through life. We can't go through summer like never stopping and just go, 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 even if it's fun stuff, without hitting a wall. Okay. And so I mean, this has just got me thinking like when we were in Chicago last year, we had such a great time. We had the privilege to go through the Chicago Blackhawks, their NHL hockey team, go through their practice facilities and change rooms. And it was such a cool experience. But for me, like I am not the hockey player, right? So seeing like the players' lockers and stuff was cool, but like, meeting players and stuff, like that was all about my kids. My husband loved it. But what was so cool to me is in this giant, beautiful practice facility, the main focus was on the recovery. So they had a massive like recovery room with like massage tables where their therapists would be and so much space dedicated to this. They had huge area for like cold plunging, hot and cold therapy. There were saunas, there were whirlpools, there were cold tubs, all sorts of stuff. And then also like a huge, massive kitchen and cafeteria area for fueling your body. But like it was such a cool example of yes, we are going to have these short bursts of a skate, of a practice, of doing drills. But the majority of their day was spent while practicing doing this recovery so that they could ramp themselves back up to do like the short burst of like playing a game. So let's talk a little bit because I guess we're not all NHL athletes here. How does this come back to us? So let's talk a little bit about science and that nervous system connection, because even if you're familiar, coming back to yourself with these principles can be really helpful as a good reminder. So, something that I found so powerful is that your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a good stress and bad stress, right? You might know this. But if you think of it in this way, right? Let's think about a summer day. It's a full day, you're going to the splash pad. You're making the snacks, you're making the meals, you're like feeling like the kitchen's a revolving door, you're running to the ball field, the soccer field, you're coordinating carpools, you're checking your emails in between, you're wiping sunscreen off a toddler's face 14 times, you're making sure everyone has bug spray and their cleats and all the things, and it's go, 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 go. And your body is processing it as stress. It might be fun, it might be somewhat enjoyable, but without the pause, this is just chronic overstimulation. And even in the name of joy, it dysregulates the nervous system. And I'm talking about you, I'm also talking about your children. So, dysregulated moms equal dysregulated kids, not only because of this go, 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 but the energy that we're giving off when we are in that very frenetic energy, it automatically relays to our children. So we need windows of regulation. We need time to return to the baseline. We need to get to the mode of our nervous system that makes us feel safe, that tells our brain, okay, we can rest, we can digest, we can feel peace, we can feel safe in our body. So last summer, like I mentioned, I didn't do this as well. And in my mind, I was thinking, yes, these are all great things. These are fun things. We were doing all of these fun back to back to back trips out of town and visiting people at cottages and going to these really great places. But I was also trying to work and my kids were home. I also wanted to paint the house and we were doing some home improvement and some renovations. So we were in and out. And I didn't layer in enough support. I wasn't firm with my schedule, and I didn't give myself the permission to recover because of all of the time being busy doing. And by August, I got shingles. And that's how loud my body had to scream for me to stop. And it literally put me in bed for almost a week. So let's talk about some real strategies for recovery for this summer, because you may have experience something like this. You may have experienced burnout or an illness that is like way out of left field, or maybe you're just super drained and you don't have the energy. And like the go, 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 and just me talking about it is making you feel so overwhelmed already that you can't fathom how you're going to get through a summer doing this. So let's talk about how we can change this. And I want you to think about what's going to work best for you. So, here are some real ways that you can actually build recovery into your life this summer. So, number one, when you're looking at your schedule, when you're looking at these beautiful weeks ahead of us and your kids are out of school and you have this time, this summer holiday time for the season, and you're trying to plan all of the activities and the trips and all that stuff, I want you to schedule in your recovery. Okay. So you might already have things planned. So I want you to look and see where the recovery time is going to be. So if you're planning a trip, I want you to add a buffer day to it. Make that a no laundry, no cooking, no unpacking, no packing. You're not spending the day like repacking and trying to make sure you're ahead of the game. You need buffer time before you go back into your busy life to chill, to give yourself space to land. And maybe it's not an entire day, maybe it's an afternoon or a full evening where you are taking time to relax and signal to your body that you are safe. I also want you to, now as we're thinking about it, number two way to understand and recover better during the summer is to know your energy patterns. Okay, so I want you to understand maybe you are a morning person and you have a lot of energy in the morning. So maybe that's when you're going to schedule those fun activities or hitting up the beach or doing those things with your kids or getting in that work that needs to get done. And then you're going to spend time in the afternoon in recovery mode. Or maybe you realize, oh, I am a night owl. So I'm going to build in some time in the morning so I can chill, or I'm going to purposely sleep to a certain time instead of trying to burn the candle at both ends. And I'm going to incorporate that recovery. If you are still menstruating, I want you to track your cycle and notice when you are having more energy and then the times that you are more drained or more tired. So you might notice bursts of energy in your follicular phase, and you might notice those dips during your luteal phase. So if you're interested in this, you can check out my episode with Dr. Danielle. We talk about female hormones and all of these different phases. She correlates them to seasons, which is super helpful. But know your energy patterns. And then also your spouses, your children, if you know what types of energy patterns they have as well. That's going to be really helpful because it's going to allow you to build in the recovery during the times when you really need it. That's going to be most restorative for you and for your family. Number three, in terms of making sure recovery is a priority, is to set those clear boundaries. So if weekends are your only downtime, don't overfill them. Maybe you don't have to go to 3 barbecues or potlucks. Maybe you're going to block off a full morning for doing nothing, staying in your pajamas, just watching a movie, resting, being still. So set those boundaries and have them in place now. If you know that your weeks are going to be full because you are working full time, maybe your Fridays and your Saturdays are filled with the fun things, and then the Sundays is where you can kind of recover, you can do things even with your family that are around the house or that don't involve a lot of chaos and stress. Just getting out the door with my family can feel stressful. So knowing like in my body like okay, we have a free day where we can just hang out around the house. Maybe we're playing board games. Maybe we're watching a movie. Maybe we are in the backyard, but it's time that we know we don't have to be on. And that can be really, really helpful. So, having some of those boundaries in place for the summer, I know it might seem like, oh, but we only have a little bit of time to do this. But the more recovered you are, the more rested you are, the more you can recoup, the better you're going to feel to be able to do those things in a more present and more playful and more joyful way. So have those boundaries. And then number four, I want you to keep a loose summer rhythm. So what does that mean? A loose summer rhythm. Okay, so this is what I call form within flexibility, right? You need a little bit of structure. Late nights and s'mores are great, but kids and moms thrive with some consistency. So have those basic anchors. Maybe you have wake up windows. Maybe there is the quiet time built in your day. Maybe there are wind down routines. I don't want you to go without having the campfires or without going to see the fireworks or without having those fun things and the sleepovers or the camp, camping and all that. But if you know that your kids are going to be just wired, exhausted, grouchy, overstimulated, well, maybe that's where we add in a little bit more structure. And I know in our house, we are pretty firm with our bedtimes because we know that our children, when they don't sleep as well, they're still waking up early. They're not going to sleep in to make up for that quote unquote lost time, and their days are going to be off. If you have children with ADHD or any type of neurodiverse children, that structure and that routine is really, really important for them. So even though the trips and the fun and the playgrounds and all of those things in their minds feel like they want to do and want to be a part of, having a little bit of structure within that fun and flexibility is really going to keep things moving forward in a way that allows everyone to thrive, but not to get overboard. And that leads me to number five, being choosy about your fun. So I get it. We want to make the most of our summer, but not every invite is worth it, right? You don't have to attend every single event or go outside just because the weather is nice. So ask yourself when you receive an invitation or when you're thinking about what you want to do for the day, think about, will this energize me or will this drain me? And depending on what your energy levels are, depending on where you are in your cycle, depending on what you already have in your schedule, if it's going to leave you feeling depleted, then maybe we just, release that with love. And being choosy about your fun doesn't mean that you're not going to have fun. It just means that you're going to be able to allow those those times when you are going out of your way, when you are doing those things, they actually will feel fun. They actually will be really enjoyable because you've had the proper recovery in order to fully enjoy it. Okay. How else can we do this? You're going to build in mini recovery moments into your day. That's number 6. So even if you're away, step into the shade, take 3 deep breaths, go to the bathroom alone for 2 minutes. It all counts. If you can wake up 15 minutes earlier, if your kids are home all summer, enjoy a few sips of coffee on your deck, outside, in some fresh air. Build in those mini recovery moments. If you're stuck in traffic, instead of getting all worked up or calling someone, maybe you're putting on some calming music and you're going through, your senses, and you're bringing yourself back into your body and doing those nervous system regulation tools to feel safe in the moment. So building in mini recovery moments, even if you're at the splash pad or even if you're at the soccer field, can really support you in that little bit of recovery to get you through the day. And then number 7, in terms of how we can build in recovery all summer, I want you to reduce your nervous system load. So what does this mean? You can cut out some of that decision fatigue. Remember, like I was telling you, like the mental load of all the little things piling up. So for the summer, things that we can do to make life easier, I am all for it. So instead of having elaborate barbecues and huge meals, or making sure that your kids have like 19 different vegetables at lunch, keep it simple. Maybe you're using, recyclable, compostable paper plates. Maybe you're going to keep a cooler bag in your car. You're going to have a snack bin. You don't have to have perfectly plated meals. You're going to give a water bottle to each child in the morning, and it's their responsibility to refill it. They're not going to use 19 different cups by the time 10 a.m. rolls around. So don't underestimate how much invisible work you do, and try to cut down on it as much as possible. With summer, we can allow for some of that flow and flexibility when we can loosen the reins a little bit in the places that don't matter as much. So maybe you're not going to be vacuuming 3 times a day. Maybe you're going to allow that to slide for every second, every third day, or whatever your schedule is. Keeping it simple is going to reduce the load on your nervous system. And you know what's best for you, but where can you allow for more ease? Where can you allow for things to flow a little bit easier? And yes, if that means that in the afternoon your kids have iPads, or they're watching a show, or they're playing video games, and that allows you to rest and recoup and get in that recovery time, then that's what's going to happen, because you need to be able to recover before that next burst. And that means reducing the load on your nervous system. So, those are my 7 tips for building in recovery into your summer. So, let's look at some of these reminders. Athletes, they don't train 7 days a week without recovery, and neither should we. So think of yourself like a battery, even a high capacity battery, even the whatever the bunny one is that just keeps going, it's going to drain if it's consistently and constantly in use. So the best way to stay charged is to plug yourself in before you're at 1%. When your phone's in the red zone, that battery drains so much quicker, and it takes so much longer for the battery juice and to build up. If you're at 1% or you let the battery die, it takes a lot longer for your battery on your phone to boot back up. So don't wait till you're at 1%. Don't wait till you get shingles, my friend, okay? Or like if you're on a washing machine, like I know we do so much laundry in this house, but I don't expect my washing machine to be on spin cycle all day, every day, right? Eventually it breaks. And we very literally just had our washing machine repaired last week because we were overloading it. Like, talk about an analogy for the summer, right? We were putting in too much dirty laundry into our washing machine and running it too often. So the drum was off kilter and we had to get it fixed. So treat yourself like an athlete, treat yourself like how you want your phone to be, constantly on a full battery, or like a washing machine, making sure that your clothes are clean and refreshed when you put them back on. And I want to do a quick recap as we're closing out, just to remind you, I get it, summer is short. These are very fleeting moments. You're going to look back on it, and your kids are going to be this size, and you're going to remember what they look like this summer. And next summer, they're going to be older, they're going to be bigger, things are going to change. But that doesn't mean that you have to do everything. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to do all of the things to have a beautiful summer. Recovery is the most overlooked strategy for thriving, but that is the most necessary and the most beneficial. So when you think of yourself this summer, I know you don't want to be a basket case, drained, no energy, overstimulated, overwhelmed, yelling at your kids, trudging through, just trying to get through your days. You want to be present. You want to fill your days with meaningful work, time with family, fun with friends, all of that stuff. And so, in order to be the second version, your nervous system needs time to regulate, even regulating from the fun stuff, because the fun can often be a little bit chaotic. So, you still need time to come back to yourself. And so the small shifts in how you plan, in how you build in rest, and how you move through your days can really make a huge difference. So, most importantly, I just want you to know that you are so worthy of this, of the rest, and you deserve to enjoy the season. You are not just there to reapply sunscreen and bring everyone towels and make sure that there's no sand in the house and make sure that everyone has snacks every 15 minutes and that there's water and no one's getting dehydrated. You are here not to just survive and slave away and do work and be there for your kids and make all the meals and help with all the things. You deserve to enjoy this season. Okay. And so I just want to mention I do have a free download, the Simple Summer Days Planner. It's a free download. You can print it out, you can get it laminated. There's little cutouts, but it's designed to help you create flow, more fun, and just incorporate ease into your summer without the overwhelm. This is specifically if you have children, it's going to help you in planning your days with some fun items, but also with that recovery and that rest time. So you can find it linked in the show notes, or you can get it on my website. And I'll say as we close out, like, have the best freaking summer filled with rest and filled with fun. If this episode was helpful for you, can you please share it? Share it with a friend, someone who needs to incorporate more recovery into their summer. You can share it on Instagram and tag me at Andryanna G. That's ANDRYANNAG. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the Juggle is Real podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you do enjoy the show, can you please leave a rating and write me a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify? Rate it. It helps more people find the show, and it builds this amazing community of people who are juggling all the things, but finding that ease and joy amidst all the chaos. Thank you so, so much for listening. Remember, your juggle is real, but so is your ability to thrive. Take good care.